Hi, guys. Welcome to the Nerdvolution podcast. I'm your host, Todd Lancaster. My co host, Drew Kirksky, cannot be here today because of work. My other co host, Jackson, is busy also with work, so they cannot be here. But we have such an amazing guest. I've met him in person, and he's such a great guy. I'd like to introduce you all to Kyle Derrick.
Hey everyone, thanks for having me aboard. So
Of
you
course,
call the name of your podcast is what again? It's the
Nerdvolution podcast.
Nerdvolution. That's pretty good. And I see you have some co-hosts. I was thinking, why doesn't he call it the Toddcast? But you have other guys. Okay, well, I'm glad I'm sorry not to meet the other guys, but also that means you just get more me to yourself. So it all
Yeah.
worked out.
So you're a voice actor, and
Yeah.
I've seen you in a few things from your Batman's Mortal series that you're helping
Mm-hmm.
fan make,
Yeah.
and you've also done Drago from Bakugan. Is there
That's
anything
right.
else that you've done that we've all probably seen you in?
Well, there's a bunch of other Bakugan stuff I did in Gen 1. I did Sid, and then I did Talion, and a few ad hoc. I think Volcanus was one. I did some Beyblades. There was a character named Yoshio. He was a big dude, and he had like big green hair. So he looked like a clown, but he was pretty jacked. And then I guess the other big claim to fame that you might have seen, actually, it depends on how old you are. But I was George Washington on the series called Peg and Cat. So it was a cartoon, Peg plus Cat for younger audiences. And we won a bunch of Emmys on that. So that's kind of cool. I'm part of it. An Emmy award winning show. So yeah, that one, I think, when did it come out now? You might have been a teenager then, but there
Yeah,
was certainly some people, yeah. So there are some children for whom I am George Washington, and that's a pretty big honor, actually.
that's awesome. So, what got you into voice acting?
So I actually started as like an on-camera stage actor, sort of. I still do as much of that as I can, but I was doing theater school, and everyone was just saying, "Oh, your voice." It's very kind of them to say. I was like, "Oh," because I hadn't really thought anything about it, and it just had been people like, "You need to do voiceover. You need to do voicework. You need to." Okay. So I continued the training, and my primary passion is actually doing Shakespeare. So I love doing that. And then I graduated and I sort of had an eye on it and I got picked up by my agent, who's still representing me. He's a great dude named Phil and he's at AMI. And he joined a larger agency, AMI. He was just him then. And they had a voice department. So I got introduced to my agent there, whose name is Noelle Jenkinson. And she took me on board, and that was pretty much it. So, in some respects, the voice work sort of chose me, which was nice. The second part of the journey, though, so there's like essentially, actually, you know what? What's your next question? I just want to make sure I'm not anticipating it.
Oh no, continue on.
Okay, so in voiceover, there's like two kinds of things, right? So you have a voice, and it's always about performance. But my voice is very distinctive, right? So in one sense, that makes me stand out, which is good because like no one else quite sounds like me, which is awesome. However, it can also be a bit of a not a trap, but it can be a bit limiting too because it always sounds like you, right?
Yeah,
So in the early days, that was great, and I booked and booked. But the mission now is also trying to diversify my sound so that I can sound not like me. So there's one thing about having a voice, you're like, oh, that person needs to do voiceover. That's a big help, but it doesn't really mean you shouldn't do it. Because it's also about performance. And there are some performers who do tons of stuff. And if you heard them speak in regular life, you'd be like, oh, okay, he's just like a normal guy or just a chick, right? But the range is so vast that they really do bring that character in. So if someone's interested in voiceover, it's good to have a voice like, oh, that guy needs to do voiceover. But if you don't, train the performance, and that can get you into.
that's fair. All right. So, do you have any heroes that you've worked with? Like actor heroes that you've done voiceovers with, or actual been on camera with?
Yeah, so actually my favorite is Cal Dodd, and he voices Wolverine in the original series, and he's back on X-Men '97. And I watched the original X-Men growing up, and Wolverine is like my favorite guy too. And I remember the first day I was in the booth with him, we were recording these spots. So there's this thing called Scotiabank in Canada. They might have an American branch, but it's a bank, right? It's a bank in Nova Scotia. And they have this great campaign in the commercials before movies with these popcorn characters, right, to promote there's
Yeah.
like a points program. And we got booked on that. So I just had, looked him up and I'd sort of known, but I'd never met him. And then on this gig, we were in the booth together recording these spots. I was like, whoa, okay, it's Wolverine. And I was his lieutenant and he was the colonel. Am I the lieutenant? I think I'm captain. I'm the captain. So that was a great day. And he's like an awesome dude. And he's doing circuits right now. He's doing Comic-Cons all over the place. I actually talked him into it. So he's like, I don't know. What's with these Comic-Cons? Like, what do you do? I'm like, dude, you go. They pay you and you just meet a bunch of awesome fans. You get to hang out all day. He's like, it sounds pretty awesome. I'm like, yeah, you should do it. So he's been doing it. So Cal Dodd is doing this circuit. So that was actually probably the biggest one. If it were on camera, like there's a show. So I'm based in Canada, Toronto, Canada.
Yeah.
And there's a show shooting here right now called FUBAR, and that's with Arnold Schwarzenegger. So that would be a fellow I would love to work with. That would be amazing. So I'm
Just
trying to
sneak
like,
on
maybe
the
I can
set. You got
Yeah.
this.
just sneak on. And I'm like, it's okay, Arnie. You can just break me over your knee. This is the best day of my life.
It's like, Arnie, I got you.
Todd told me to do it. I mean, what can I say?
Just next, you send me a photo.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's all you
As
have to
he's
do.
like,
Just sneak on set, take a photo with you and Arnold Schwarzenegger. It'd be
What
like,
am I-
yeah.
what
And
is
then
it?
if he gets mad, just be like, hey, he totally did.
you told me, what is it? Is that dabbing? Is that what it is? Is that what that is? Dabbing?
Yeah, damn it.
Oh, that's what that is. Okay. Man. So Cal was the big one for voice. Who was another one? You know what, actually? So there's another show. So there's Saturday Night Live, and that's produced by Lorne Michaels. And
Yeah.
Lorne Michaels produced a show in Canada about the same time in the 1990s called Kids in the Hall. And some Americans
Actually,
know
I'm
about
watching that show right now with my dad.
it. Okay, amazing. So you're watching the original
Yes.
or the new? Okay. So this is great. So Scott Thompson
Yes.
is one of the kids, right? And he was I like them all, but he was kind of the one that I was like, oh, this guy's great. I've actually been working with Scott on some stuff over the last few years. So I met him at a house party many years ago. Very generous guy. And I was shooting this web series called Actorapist. It's actually on YouTube. It's hilarious. If anyone knew about it, we'd get canceled 100%. It's so offensive. It's worth checking out though. And once I get some other things organized, I'm going to go on and promote it properly because it has that 1990s feel, which is big right now, and there's not really anything else like it. So yeah. Anyway, it was a lot of fun, and it's like an hour and a half, 10 episodes, like shorter episodes, but it's fun.
All right.
It's about a group of actors who try to be therapists, and they're just terrible. They're just terrible at it. It's called Actorapists, but it looks like
awesome.
it looks like actor rapists. It's spelled actor rapists, and everyone's like actor rapists. It's like no, actorapists. Anyway, it's the comedy's built in. So I was like, hey, look, I'm doing this web series. You want to come on board? And he did, amazingly to his credit. And we had a day together, and that was a great day actually, because we basically threw out the script and we just kind of riffed. So I was basically trying to keep up with the master, and I think I did pretty good. So, and we reconnected. About a year and a half ago on an animated feature called, actually, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to talk about it. Oh, geez. It's going to be forthcoming, so you got to be careful with these NDA things. It's going to be great. But I met him again there, and we sort of caught up, and he talked about the new Kids in the Hall on Amazon, and now he's on FUBAR. So, I'm like one step closer to Arnie.
One step closer.
So, so Scott Thompson was a big one, and Cal Dodd was a big one, I think. In another world, it'd be like, Arnie, obviously. But someone like Sir Ian McKellen, I'm a huge fan of. And even Patrick Stewart, like those two guys, like I would love to work with them. Christian Bale, he's just such a great Batman. He seems awesome. Yeah, you know what though? Tom Cruise. I think Tom Cruise is that's the guy.
That's the guy you want to work with?
I think so. Even just work for. Can I bring you coffee, Mr. Cruise? And I'm not that kind of guy, right? But for him, I'm like, you know what? Just let me bring you coffee.
But aren't you taller than Tom Cruise? Tom Cruise might get offended.
I don't think so. He can't. He's Reacher, man. Like, it doesn't matter. He's got that presence.
Fair
It doesn't
enough.
matter.
But you also got Alan Richson as Reacher too. So I
Yes,
mean,
that's true. That's true. And he's taller than I am. And he's good, and it's a great show. But
uh,
Tom Cruise is
Tom
world
Cruise
class.
is the very first Reacher.
He's well, that's beyond that, but he's like cold fusion. He just goes. It's amazing. So I'm
That is
actually
fair.
a huge fan, and so that would be certainly a day made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Tom Cruise's acting. He's a good actor.
Oh man, it's just there's no one else like him, and he's so
Oh yeah.
committed, and like the scripts he chooses, it's just like it's always the perfect balance of drama and humor. I don't know, man. It's like anyone who's a hater, I'm like, I think you're just jealous because he's pretty spectacular.
Oh yeah. So do you have a favorite voice that you've done?
Yeah, I mean, the Batman. Um, in terms of the stuff that maybe you guys would have heard, um, I mean, I do like Drago, but it's probably George Washington. It's probably George Washington. Um, yeah, yeah. But Batman. So what would be some other stuff? Oh, there's some other like weird stuff that I do on the artistic side. So it's like some literature stuff, like Shakespeare stuff. So there's like some English dialects that I really like doing. Favorite voice. Yeah, I think it is. I think it's Batman. Yeah. I mean, you can't argue with that, really.
Oh yeah.
Not really. I mean, is
So
there
do
a
you want to
voice I'd
give us a
like to
few
do?
few
Oh yeah, you
samples
want some
of your voice
Batman?
acting?
Oh sure, sure. What should we do here?
I'll let you
Uh,
pick.
okay. So do we want to do Batman?
Yeah, why not? Let's do
Okay.
Batman.
This is the advantage of doing this on my laptop. I can look up quotes directly. Okay. What is the best Batman quote? What are some
I
inspiring
am
Batman
vengeance. I am
quotes?
the night. I am
Yes.
Batman.
Okay. I'll give you that one for sure. I'll give you that one for sure. I'm on Reddit. I'm on Reddit. Okay. Batman Begins. Okay. So here's one from Big Sav Matt. A hero can be anyone, even a man doing something as simple and reassuring as putting a coat around a young boy's shoulders to let him know the world hadn't ended. That's from, is that the Nolan movie? Yeah, it might be. Alfred. Oh, no. I could do Alfred, too. Death and chance stole your parents. Vengeance blackens the soul. No, that's mad. These are quotes against Batman. I'm like, I want Batman quotes. Oh, they're all Alfred now. Why can't Reddit stick to a thing?
Right? It's Reddit. You never know.
I know. They just go. Okay. All right. Okay, here's a few, I think. Oh, this sounds like the Joker. People need dramatic examples to shake them out of apathy. I don't know if that's a Batman
Yeah,
quote.
that sounds like the Joker.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. If you make yourself more than just a man, if you devote yourself to an ideal, and if they can't stop you, then you become something else entirely. How can you move faster than possible, fight longer than possible without the most powerful impulse of the spirit, the fear of death? The first truth of Batman. It had to be one I don't like to admit. The gunshots left me alone. For years I was alone in the echoing dark of that well. But something else defined the exact moment Batman was born. The first truth of Batman. The saving grace. I was never alone. I had help. And now we'll do the one that everybody loves. Said I am the night. I am vengeance, I am the night, I am Batman, right? Okay, let's give. I'm going to take down the gain a bit. I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman.
Yay!
Hey, everybody got their money's worth.
Yeah.
Everybody's got their money worth. Great. Thanks for following me down on that one. And thank you, Reddit. You came in handy after all. Oh, did I
So,
clip there?
do you have a favorite episode that you've done in the Bakugan series at least?
Yeah, my favorite it's the latter part of the season's great, but I think my favorite is actually I think it's like episode 2 where Drago is in the fast food restaurant Have a bam-tastic day, right? That's the one I was saying at the con.
Yeah,
Bring a bam jam, flip it, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, that's my favorite. And he's like, yes, boss human. That's my favorite. It's like this
yeah,
dragon, and somehow he's like messing it up. And there's like an hour-long wait.
yeah.
Yeah, that would be the one. Yep,
Do you have
that'd
a
be good.
favorite con that you've been to?
Favorite con? Well,
Yeah,
obviously Wyoming Con.
yeah,
Yeah, man. That's where I met you and the rest of the crew. It was a great time. Very
right,
warm and receptive crowd. I hope to
right.
come back.
So I'm curious because on your IMDb page, because I'm looking at it right now as we actually
Right.
it says that obviously your name is Kyle Derek, but then it
Mm.
says your alternate name is McDonald. So is
Yeah.
Derek your stage name or is that your birth name?
So my full name is Kyle Derek McDonald.
Okay, so Derek's your
So
middle name.
Kyle Derek is now officially the stage name, and I've actually been trying to change it for years. My agents kind of blocked me early on. I just knew I'm like, there's nothing wrong with Kyle McDonald. Um, like if I was in Britain, it's okay. McDonald's a good name. It's a good, strong clan. There's nothing to be ashamed of there, right?
Yeah, except
Represent
for the
McDonald's.
burgers.
That's it. But I just wanted something a little. I'm like, I want just something a little sexier, right? Because it's something about the two first names. And so and they're like, no. And I was a bit younger. Now that I'm older, I'm like, here's how it's gonna go. I'm gonna change my name, and that's gonna be that. And then we did. So, and part of it too is like there's a big movement in the arts right now to, as they like to say, decolonize.
Yeah,
And I'm not a big fan of a lot of this because I think it's a lot of craziness. And we're turning the corner on it, and I think we're getting back to sanity. But the Kyle McDonald is a very Anglo name. It's a very white name, and it's like not. I
yeah,
producers have very much felt the pinch to cast diversely, which there's some upsides to that.
yeah,
Perhaps there's some lunacy as well. But I was like, well, Kyle McDonald is, as in their calculus, horribly undiverse. So I was like, well, maybe
yeah.
now's the time to go do Kyle Derek. So it's, also Bruce Wayne, two first names, Kyle Derek. And you see where I'm
Yeah,
going with this?
that
Yeah.
works.
So my fine arts name, so when I do writing, is Kyle Derek McDonald.
Okay,
Yeah. My official name, like my legal name is Kyle Derek and Kyle McDonald. But Kyle
okay.
Derek for the sake of this, yeah. Very observant, very observant. And there's still a lot of it's like only been a couple years now, so there's still a lot of things where people are like it's like this. Like I have people calling me Derek. Everyone's so confused. I go meet new people, and they'll be like, "Hi, Derek." I'm like, "That's clearly my last name. I don't, I don't know." But it's two first names, right? There's like, what do we do? That's
Yeah.
funny.
Well, last time you were here, I didn't get a chance to get your autograph or get a photo with you. So maybe next time when you come up, I will.
I didn't sign anything.
No.
No, it must have given you one of the posters.
Mm-mm.
You didn't get that. Can't be true.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm very surprised by that. Well, absolutely. If I come back, I'll get all that for
Exactly.
you. Yeah, I swear I got you a poster. I mean,
No.
oh,
I got
crazy.
one from Laser.
Yeah.
From I
Yeah,
got
he's pretty awesome.
I got three from Greg, one from myself and one from the co-host Drew, and the other one from
Right.
my buddy Nick, who was going through a
Okay.
rough time.
Oh, sorry,
And
Nick.
then I
Feel
got
better.
one because Charlie was leaving early because he had to go do something because of his family.
Hmm.
And I got a free one from Charlie because he promised me one last year.
Okay. Okay. Well, hey, look, I'm not sure that happened, but yeah, gladly. Just next time I'm there, hit the table. We'll get a pick. We'll get a signature. No problem. I'll give you
Uh,
ones for your absentee hosts as well. It'd be
all
my
right,
pleasure.
sweet.
Yeah.
So, do you have a hold on, what is it? Do you have a dream actor to work with or
Hmm.
actress?
Yeah. Very different question. There's Haley Atwell. I'm sort of a little in love with. Um, I actually caught Pillars of the Earth. I think that might have been a breakup, but it's based on a series of novels set in the Middle Ages.
Yeah,
And she's just such a great actor, and she's so stunning. It's like wow. So yes, I mean she's married and happily, so obviously that would just be a pipe dream, but that would be nice. The standards, like I said, Sir Ian, Sir Patrick, Arnie, actually Michael Fassbender, I would love to work with.
Michael
Uh,
Fassbender would be fun.
Yeah, and he kind of has the career that I want. He has, yeah, he's fantastic. Very jealous of his career. Yeah, amazing. Like the Judi Dench, Kate Blanchett, like just some of those heavy hitter Brits. I just want to do Shakespeare with them, you
That would
know.
be fun.
I can't help myself. I just want to do Shakespeare. Obviously, Tom Cruise, top of the list. Top of the list. Who else looks cool? Ryan Reynolds. He's Canadian.
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling. The Canadian Ryans. It'd be great to be alongside them.
Just change your name for a day to Ryan. Just have a movie
Well,
called
look.
The Ryans.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be
Oh,
Ryan Derek,
yeah,
or even
exactly.
more
Ryan Derek.
confusing,
We got the Ryan
Ryan
squad.
Kyle.
Great.
Ryan
We got the
Kyle.
Ryan squad.
Man, I mean, I would do it. If that's the price, I'll do it.
Yeah.
I met Ryan Gosling many, many years ago, and I actually pray he doesn't remember me because I was not sober. It was when he was with oh my God, I met her too, and she's glorious. She's delightful. But the Notebook. Why am I forgetting her name?
Oh, here, give me a moment.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just embarrassing. She's also Canadian. Rachel McAdams. There we go.
Yes.
Yes, beautiful and such a sweetheart too. She she wanted me to take a picture with her and some friends, and I teased her a bit about like, oh, superficially. Oh no, it's just terrible. We're terrible stars. But I met them at that anyway. I was totally not sober, so I have no memory of it. But apparently, I didn't get punched. So, good on you, Mr. Gosling.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good list. Who else? Bryan Cranston.
Bryan Cranston would be fun.
Bryan Cranston. Breaking
Oh,
Bad is
I'll say,
John Hamm actually.
oh yeah,
Yeah. Go
John
ahead.
Hamm would be fun too. I want to meet Bryan Cranston because not only is he, Walter White, which
Mm-hmm.
everybody knows him for, he
Mm-hmm.
actually is, besides you, obviously, he's a phenomenal voice actor and he does a
He
lot of
is.
voices for the villains in Power Rangers. And I'm a huge Power Ranger fan.
Oh, great. Yeah, no, he has got a great voice actually.
And
He
so I don't know if you knew it. So Billy Cranston, the original Mighty Morphin Blue Power Ranger, he got his last name from Brian.
What do you mean?
So Billy's last name was originally going to be Craig, Billy
Right.
Craig, but because Bryan Cranston did such a good job and helped out with making the show as possible as it was, they decided to change Billy's last name to Cranston in honor
Oh
of him.
wow. Wow, what an honor indeed. Yeah,
Right?
Bryan Cranston is the
He can
man.
live on as a Power Ranger.
I know. Yeah, he's like the villain and the hero. Yeah, I
Exactly.
would love to work with him. Breaking Bad is a masterclass in writing, like filmmaking and acting. He's magnificent. He's a magnificent beast.
Oh yes. If you
Yeah.
could give advice to future voice actors or on camera actors, what would it be?
Okay, so I have like the my advice tends to be pretty practical, right?
All right.
And like this is the nice stuff of like follow your dreams, and that's true. Like if you love it, you should chase it.
Yeah.
The first bit is really unsexy, but it's very important. You're probably gonna have to have another job, and that's okay. And I can't tell you how much of the industry is shifting that way. So the way it works is we see the stars, right? We see the Bryan Cranstons and the Tom Cruises, and they're
Yeah.
full time. Okay. And they're great. And look, there's a lot of great people who aren't discovered. And like part of it's just like luck and circumstance. That's just the way it is, right? There's things you can
Yeah.
do to maximize like online presence, and that's all very frustrating, but very true. So most artists, though, are grinders. Okay. It's like the guy who has a few lines in this, Law and Order show. And then he shows up in The Boys for like a couple lines. And then maybe he's on something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's a grinder. And it's like there are some people you can make a living off that, right? So there's like your stars, and then there's your beer, and like they kind of live that way. So they're like, supporting, and you're like, oh, I kind of know that person. And then there's like below that, and that's the grinder. And that's where most artists go. If you're gonna have a go at it, you make some money, but you don't quite make a living on average, or you make a very modest living. So one, if you're wanting to do it, if you are doing it, etc., just let go of the notion of doing it exclusively. That could happen. It
Yeah.
may happen. However, it's important to understand that the point is the long game and the grind. So make sure you can feed yourself, make sure you can clothe yourself, and pay your rent. Because it's
Yes.
very difficult to do good work when you're struggling with money.
All
Right.
right.
Very unsexy. No one wants to hear it. But I care a great deal about artists. I develop artists. I'm an artist. Like writing. I'm an opera singer. I'm a music composer, actor, all this other stuff.
I'm a wannabe film director. So
There you go. And like and when you make things, when you're the driving force, you are the last to be paid.
yes,
Always. Okay. So that's the deal. And today you have to make the thing before anyone buys it. The good news is it's like kind of easy in some respects because you have phones and we have all this audio equipment that's pretty cheap,
yeah,
right? We have editing software that's getting better and better, but it is a bit of a because you have to deliver before you make money. So part of it is like some of the process favors those with the means. And look, that's just the way life is, okay?
exactly.
But if you're able to sort of balance both of them and manage your time well, work, make the money, live a life, and do that. And then if things can align properly, you can really have a go at it. So that's the unsexy part. Okay. The
Yeah.
more sexy part is there's a lot of opportunities. And if you're willing to try, and I do suggest this, to not worry so much about money, then you can get quite a bit of things going.
Right.
So for voice specifically, there are cartoons, and that's very good. Now, the mistake a lot of people make is they try to do impressions. No,
Yeah.
good. Start with impressions, okay? Because
Okay.
you can do a great Mark Hamill, you can do a great Kevin Conroy or Troy Baker, all those. And Troy Baker's kind of a chameleon. Like, what does he even sound like? He's everywhere, right? He's amazing.
Yeah.
And maybe you're not. Maybe you just are like Kevin Conroy, who can only sound like Kevin Conroy.
Yeah.
And that's fine because it's magnificent. But maybe you're actually, those are good examples of the Kevin Conroys and the Troy Bakers. Troy Baker can sound like anybody, it seems.
Yeah.
Kevin Conroy was the guy. And they're both super awesome. So
Exactly.
one is like kind of figuring out which one you are. Right?
Yes.
Well, which one are you? Okay, so that's one of the first things. Second, don't worry about the money, but then think about the commercial side of things. Okay? Cartoons are sexy, video games are sexy. Commercials can pay your bills.
Yes.
And that is a very specific skill set that you can develop. So I would recommend, if you're serious about it, taking a few workshops. And there will be any number of voice actors in your area. You can there's SAG, right? So you have it's a Screen Actors Guild, right?
Yeah.
And you'll have any amount of SAG members in any given town and anywhere in America who will be doing this, because especially with voice, it's remote. So there may very well be someone in your town. If not, you can find someone in LA and just hop on Zoom and work with them this way, right? So it's even more opportunities, right? There's more opportunities. So find someone who's killing it and offers a good course and take it and do what they say. Because there's a lot of little things, right? So one of the first things you have to do is shed a regional dialect. So a dialect, so there's accents, and that's what we think of, right? We think of an English accent, it looks like this, but it's technically a dialect. Because an accent is just someone who comes to English from another language. That's an accent, right?
Exactly.
So you want to shed whatever that is and sound as neutral North American as possible, because so many spots for radio and TV, and the good news is, bad news, good news, commercials are coming back on TV, right?
Yes.
You have Netflix and and Amazon, and you're like, oh, there's a commercial now.
All right.
I'm enjoying watching us rediscover the model we already had in
Yeah.
like the late 90s, early 2000s. Like, oh, it's just commercials. But that's good for actors, and it's good for you because it's more opportunities to get your voice and to make some money. So never underestimate commercial. It is a huge, and again, as a grinder type, cartoons are great. You guys know the cartoons, but I do like 50 times more commercial work.
Yeah.
And that's the bulk of the money, right? I live on it. It's my job, right? But it's like 70% commercial. So I strongly recommend everyone to do that and to take that course, because there's a bunch of things that you're just going to have to practice, and you're going to need to be in the hands, and you're going to have to hear it, because we can't hear our own. So that's it. So look for that course, and I'd say start with commercial. And then do animation and cartoons sort of stuff in your own time. So like find 10, 15 characters, you know, and if they're impressions, good, but make them your own. Because very, very rarely, almost never, do directors want impressions. There's a very rare category of voiceover where they do want direct impressions, and it's if they lose a series lead.
All
Either they
right.
pass away or they leave the show, they'll want a voice match, but it's super rare. So make it your own. So part of that is also figuring out the apparatus of how to be an actor, and that is like things like impulse and how do I find the truth, blah 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 blah. So voice, yes, definitely commercial workshop and animation workshop works too. But I honestly recommend trying a little bit more something like improv or theater, even an on-camera class to help find those sorts of inner emotions. Video games are very much like on camera.
All
Right?
right.
It's different. You have to do a little more vocal precision. You have to do a little more vocal shaping. And in fact, it's a very fine line because in film, we have so much of our face and our body to rely on, which
Yes.
conveys so much information. But you'll find a lot of, like I'm actually a couple of lads at the con there are very interested in doing voiceover. And so I'm gonna set them up. And it's just like, I think they can do it. They have good voice. And like you just a little lift of energy from film, because film's very right.
Yeah.
So but all these things combined will create this ability. Now the advantage, and I would say the beauty actually of voiceover, is that unlike film, you are not bound by your height, by your skin color, by your weight, by your looks. All those things evaporate.
All
And
right.
so in a way, you are the freest to really be an artist of character. And that's, I think, the best thing about voice. You can play so many different things if you play your cards right. It's a friend of mine, Corey Doran, and if you IMDb him, you'll just see just credits, right? And he's like that. So he, again, he's a good-looking dude. And he does some on-camera stuff, but like
Yeah.
it's just you see him and then you hear, and it's like he's anywhere from like an old man to like these teenage boys. It's just incredible.
Oh yeah.
Like he's in no way bound. Like there's these roles he would just never be able to play on TV because he's just not shaped that way.
Yeah.
But you hear it, and it's like he has all of these different opportunities, and I think that's really, now obviously you have to know your hit, blah 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 blah. Like find the thing you're really good at and nail it, absolutely, first and foremost. But secondarily, you might find that there might be a hit you have that doesn't match what you would be on camera. So the fun thing is exploring, but mostly it's doing. So when I teach voiceover stuff, it's like, I'm sitting here, blah, 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 and you're all being very patient listening to me ramble. But it really is about the doing. So do as much as you can as soon as you can and listen. Listen to everything you do. It's super painful. It's very, very painful at first.
But it
But you
gets easier over
need,
time.
it does, because you're going to get better. You need to hear yourself, right? And that's one of the best ways. And I say this to opera singers as well. It's like the best teacher is hearing yourself. And from
Right.
there, you're like, oh, okay. And it's enormously painful. And sometimes people have a really hard time letting go. And if you're one of those people, then, maybe rely on others and really think about those workshops, of course. And the workshops are good too because you meet people and people have to
Exactly.
know who you are, right? So, long story short, I'll recap the unsexy version: have a job, make your money, live your life. Okay. Do it because you love it, but do not expect to live on it. 2, go for commercial. Do those workshops with casting directors and other performers. Explore your voice and listen to yourself. And
All
then
right.
don't worry about making money.
All right. Do you have a dream role that you want to do?
I mean, Batman for like DC would be pretty sweet. But what would be a great role? You know, something like Beowulf, just an old English poem, voicing Beowulf in something, or
Voicing
Achilles.
Beowulf like Mr. Sir Anthony Hopkins.
Yes, is that? Wait, what did he voice it in?
He
Oh, he did
voiced,
the movie.
yeah, he did the movie Beowulf.
He played Hrothgar, which was the king, and I can't remember who voiced Beowulf. It was another British fellow. Yes, he was in it. Something like that, or like Achilles, or something from the Greek. Like the Trojan War is one of my favorites, and that, or like King Arthur. I don't know. So it was something like mythic, like one of those like ancient, just amazing, like bronze-clad heroes. I think I would love to do. James Bond. I love the voice James Bond.
Ray Winstone voiced Beowulf.
Sorry?
Ray Winstone, it says he voiced Beowulf.
Oh yeah, okay, that's it. Ray Winstone. Yeah, yeah. And he had a bit of that. What is it? No, I don't know what it is, but it wasn't strictly tough. He had a bit of. He was tough. He's a tough guy.
But I have a role for you, but you might have to go on camera again.
Oh
Mr.
yeah,
Sinister.
Mr. Sinister.
Yes.
Okay, tell me about this.
Well, Mr. Sinister is a geneticist, and he was an orphan growing up. And in the orphanage, his like bunkmate, like the bed right next to him, was Cyclops.
Oh wow. He's
And
wait,
so
Mr. Sinister. He's purple, right?
no, he is white with the like diamond on his forehead.
Okay, yes. There he is. Yes.
And he wants to create the perfect genetic mutation.
Okay.
And in one storyline, which is a different Earth, he's the reason Gambit exists. He created Gambit
Oh wow.
because
Okay.
everybody thinks Gambit looks a lot like Cyclops.
I mean, I
And
guess he kind of does.
because of them having the same power mindset. Because Vulcan is kinetic energy, but all over the place. Or that's Havoc. Cyclops is through his eyes. Gambit is through just making pure kinetic energy.
Yeah, you can just embed it. Oh, interesting. Okay.
So, but Sinister is Nathaniel Essex. He's the guy at the end of X-Men Apocalypse who steals Wolverine's blood.
Oh wow.
But
man,
his
this
corporation
guy's-
stole his blood.
Okay, let me have a look at this guy, Mr. Sinister. Oh yes. I know him.
Yes.
Act through agents of manipulation. I mean, I won't take it personally that you think I'm this much of a baddie, but Mr. Sinister looks to me like he sounds like this. What do you think?
I agree.
He's a supervillain appearing, what is it, in American comic books published by Marvel Comics. Oh, Marvel. All right. Well, hey, look, I won't say no.
I mean, you got the
I won't
look.
say no. Oh, no. Is this, wait a minute. What do you mean I have the look? Look at this guy. What are you saying? How do I share my screen here? Look at this. Yeah, I can make the mean. Okay.
You got the,
that's
you
fine.
got the hairstyle.
Oh, okay. It's the hair. That's what it is.
It's the
That's
hair that makes it worth it.
Oh, whatever, man. Honestly, this one, you throw money at me, I'll do whatever you want.
Well,
Like,
I'm
here
in the
you
middle
go.
of making a Gambit TV series, like for YouTube for myself.
Oh,
because
great.
like I said, I'm a huge fan. And I was
Are
just
you
curious,
playing
since you
Gambit?
said you're a producer. Obviously,
Yeah.
I don't know if you can get, you have to get permission from your agent. Would you like to be help produce it?
Well, I mean, I'd love to. It's just now it's like logistics, my friend. So you're in Wyoming,
Yes.
and I am in Toronto.
Yes.
I was that 3,000 or 4,000, 3,000, maybe 2,000 miles.
We are.
Okay. Producing. I mean, that's a tough one. So how far in are you?
I am still working on the script, actually.
Okay, you got to get that finished because you're going to need to put your budget together and your
because
location list.
right now it's just a fan series that I am doing without a budget.
Hmm.
Some of the budget's obviously coming out of my own pocket for certain items and certain things.
Yeah.
But what I have so far is the first 3 episodes done. I just need to finish the other, because I've asked my co-host Drew. He's playing Cyclops in it.
Okay.
And he lives all the way in Phoenix. So I even told them
wow.
that I'm willing to travel.
Okay.
And
So how many episodes are you aiming for?
me and him, because I brought it up to him, he thinks that we should do at least 10 to start out for the first season.
Okay. So here's my thought on this. I think you should write those episodes. Okay. And I think you should shoot what's called a pilot or a sizzle. Okay, so there's a pilot. And I would even maybe recommend a sizzle or so how long are the episodes?
How long are the episodes? They're probably about maybe an hour to 2 hours, or an hour at least.
So it's an hour-long drama, so you want 10 hours of material.
Yes.
Okay. Have you written that much before?
Yes.
Oh, you have. Okay. What else? What else have you written on?
I've written on a screenplay for my film class that I was
Okay. So here's what I suggest. So, write, because it's a long episode. Not that it shouldn't be, but so a lot of these fan series, here's the problem they encounter, okay? And there's been a few because other people have reached out to me about Batman and Spider-Man, a whole bunch of other stuff, and they fall apart because they want way too much, okay? So it is a conservative estimate on
in.
how to budget for a show that is a low budget show, okay, is about $3,000 a minute.
All right.
Okay, so if you have a 60-minute episode, what is that? That's $180,000 minimum.
All right.
If you're gonna do all the fancy shit, right?
Yeah.
And you're not gonna because you don't have that kind of cash, and I don't
Exactly.
even recommend spending that kind of cash, right?
Yeah.
So, and what happens is because the vision, and it's good to start with the big vision, and I'm not saying you shouldn't do this, but just for your consideration. The amount of people you end up needing is enormous, and they cannot commit because there's no money, and it's huge, dude. Like, you've shot? So you did a film class,
Yes.
so you know what's involved in shooting.
Yes, I do.
Okay, yeah. There's a lot of people, and like there will be people who will help you, but for 10 episodes,
No.
no. So write it for the lover, and then do a reading, and get a bunch of people together and read through it. Because they'll be like, oh, this is cool. And so you just want your story to be good, right? So do that. And then once you've read through it and you're pretty happy with the shape, shoot like a short 5-minute version of the first episode, essentially. That's your sizzle, it's your calling card.
Yeah.
And then from there, you release it to fans and see what the interest level is.
All right.
Okay, so that way, like the way that otherwise it's like you guys are gonna burn out. There's so much stuff to do, and you're like, oh my god, and you're like, I want it to be perfect. So I would spend a little bit of time making something really good.
All right.
Like 2.5 to 5 minutes.
All right.
That's the thing you put out, okay? And you go all out, okay? So you get all the people, you spend a weekend in Phoenix or whatever it is, you shoot the shit out of it.
All right.
Okay, good lighting, good costumes. You might want to pay an editor, like an effects sort of thing. Like if that's where you're going to spend your money, get
Yeah.
the calling card, and then get the fans. Guys, here's what we did. Do you want to see more? Boom, boom, boom. And then you're going to start wanting to rattle cages of like, is there a crowdfunding thing? Is there a production company who'll pick you up? Right? So that way you're not out there, flapping in the wind all by yourself, trying to do this huge Herculean thing and like
Yeah.
spending all this time, right? So like write it for the love of because you have it. And then so you'll shoot that, and you'll on the pitch side, you will break down the episodes. So it's called the Bible.
Yeah.
They talked about this.
Yes.
Okay, what's a Bible for the listeners? Explain it to the listeners.
I haven't done it in a while. I remember. I sort of remember what it was, but could you please explain for them?
Okay,
Just
so the
I
Bible is
get a refresher
basically
too.
it's like the wiki on your show. Okay, so it's going to be like an episode breakdown. It's going to be a character breakdown. It could be a location breakdown, budget. Okay, as much information as you can put into what it takes, the better. And then you'll have a deck too with like pictures and like here's what the show's about. So, and anyone listening, if you're interested, it is 100% necessary to do this, not just because, oh, investors, but also so you know what you're doing. If you cannot describe your show in like under 2 minutes, you don't know what it's about. And if you don't know what it's about, you're screwed. So the good part about this is it forces you to condense it. Like, what am I saying? Each episode's this, each episode's this, each episode's this. Here are the characters. Boom, 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 boom. What do we want to say? What are we doing? Da, 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 da. So when you do that work, it'll make it easier for you when you go to shoot, when you go to hire, when you go to pitch, because you'll know exactly what it is you're selling. So like okay, here's an example. What's your series about?
My series is about Gambit trying to understand and right his wrongs of his past.
Okay, that's pretty good. Okay. So it's about this guy who wants to make up for his past. And I'm curious, okay, well, what did he do in his past?
Well, he screwed over a lot of people. He stole, and he also caused a lot of chaos along the way.
Okay. So why now? Why this story now?
Because he doesn't want the love of his life to be taken from him.
Okay, so that's for him. So why now for the audience? Why are
Honestly,
you telling this story now?
why am I telling the story? Because
Yeah.
people need to understand that Gambit isn't always just gonna be a thief, and he could, mature and change.
Okay. Who cares about Gambit?
I do.
You do. Do you think everyone cares about Gambit?
No.
No. How can you reframe that in a way that something that everyone can care about?
So people don't can see that not all everybody's gonna be. Let me think about it. So people can see that you're not always defined by your past.
Yes. Can you make it even better?
Hmm.
It's very close.
Can I make it? The past doesn't define you.
Yes, yes, good. But basically, it's like I can change. I'm not defined by my past, right?
There.
From the perspective of the audience.
Yeah.
It's like people. It's like an audience member. And so another thing I recommend with pitching is like picture like your perfect audience member, but you know everything about them. How tall are they? Where are they from? What's their gender? Like what kind of foods do they like? What kind of shows do they watch? What kind of clothes do they wear? What kind of job do they have? Like, you don't have to do all of this, but
Yeah.
like literally when you're pitching, you're talking to them. So to, Sally or whoever your
Yeah.
ideal thing is, you're like, Sally, you don't always have to be defined by your mistakes. It's possible to change, right? So you're right there. Exactly. We are not defined by our mistakes. We can change.
All
And that's
right.
the pitch. Why now? Why now? Well, we just came out of a pandemic. We're having a lot of political problems. And I think a lot of us have said things and done things we're
That we're
probably
not
not
too proud
proud
of.
of. That's right. And I'm not interested in saying who did what. I don't care about this, that, and another thing. But what I do care about is that every one of us understands that even if we've done something, we can always come back, and that is Gambit.
All
And
right.
that's a great pitch.
All right.
That's a message people need to hear, right?
Yes.
Everyone needs to hear this because we've all done things that we're not proud of.
Exactly.
You're like, there, that's why now. Now we need people to build. And Gambit he's coming from, a hard thing and he's done some terrible things, but he's building again. And we need to rebuild. So that's it. That's what it is.
Yes.
There you go. Okay, so that's all very much in order. And that's fun stuff, right? So that's thematic. So once you have that, now you know where each episode's going to have to point. So that's all very good. Yeah, and very good. Like that's a very clear story arc you have, and I like that. And I know you care about Gambit, but at a certain point, you're just going to have to say, I am Gambit. Right?
Y-
It's about you,
Yes.
which is okay because that's what people are buying. And it took me a while to learn that, actually.
All
Because
right.
in Canadian culture, like we're very much like, you kind of try to, I'm not like that, but I do what I can. But you try to put yourself out of frame and you try to like, oh, us, we, and like, it's not about me, right?
Yeah.
And like, it's about this thing. Like, no one gives a fuck about the thing, really.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I swore, but
No, you're
it
good.
needed swear. No one cares about that. What they want is they want you. People who make movies, people book, like they want you. The reader, the audience, they want you, right? And
Yeah.
obviously you through Gambit and you through, but like that's the thing. So part of it is understanding like I am selling me. I, Todd, right? Okay,
Yeah.
Todd. So, and like, here's my Bible. Here's my pitch. Here's what I want to do. Here's my budget. Here's the stuff. Here's the right? Bum, 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 bum.
Yes.
So it's you. You're selling you. And that's very, very hard. There's some people who just do it, but it's still very hard to go out there and be like, I am awesome,
I am the
right?
king.
Exactly. Without people like, what's up, his asshole, right?
Yeah.
So, and so when you pitch it, and look, I understand it's the love of Gambit. Yes. And that's helpful because you're like, I'm not talking about me, it's about Gambit. Like, yeah. But execs don't care about Gambit.
All right.
No, your audience will, so that's an advantage, but like unless they give you money.
Yeah.
But what they care about is like what's a journey? Because I'm sure they've done something. They're like, oh yeah, I wish I could take that back.
Yeah.
Am I the culmination of my poor decisions? Yeah. Anyway, I'm rambling now, but you get the
No,
point.
you're good.
So you
Yeah. No,
start
I
thinking
understand.
more about that. And so that's my recommendation. So I like the idea, and there's a lot of fan series coming up. And I honestly think, because if I was a studio head, I would be looking at this personally. And I know that there'll be someone at Disney, because Disney's in big, big trouble for, it's their own fault. Uh, but someone somewhere is going to be looking and be like, why are we trying to tell fans what they should like? Why don't we just do what they're doing? Right.
Exactly.
And then it's going to be a bonanza. So it's like, you may or may not get the show of your dreams made the way you want, but your best chance is being in a position to be at the top of that line,
Yeah.
I would say. So yeah, so that's all good. That's my recommendation. Of course, follow the passion, but I'd say really concentrate on like 2 to 5 minutes of really solid material and use that as the calling card. Have your Bible ready to go, and then just engage with fans and friends and build it. Right. So we're trying to do on Batman. It's the same thing. And you know, Sam Rivera, who's running the account, and it's all his show, and he's doing the animation, he's doing the writing, he's a beast, right? And it's had tens of thousands of followers, and he's just built it and built it and built it, and we're listening to fans more and more. I'm like, let's let them write some episodes, right? We may be doing that. It's like, let's do some of this stuff. They know more. Like, I will never know the amount that they know.
Exactly.
It matters a great deal to them, right? So it's like, well, why
not try it?
Yeah, why find? And you know, and it's like, I'll get a script, and it's like, we like. I'm like, okay, I'll do some fixing on it, and maybe that's the way to go. Like, there's entire
Batman fights
fan.
Ra's al Ghul.
There you go, right? And comes away with hot Talia, right? That's her name, right? Talia?
Yeah,
Oh,
Talia.
so
You'd be like, I got my baby mama right here.
hot. Exactly. Oh, I want that one. Oh. So
Don't
anyway,
worry,
I
I'll
think.
send him a script for you.
Thank you, do
You're
it.
welcome.
So
I'll
I
tell him that
think.
we both wrote it.
No, it's okay. You write it. You
I'll
can have
write
the
it, but
credit.
I'll
You
say
write
that
it.
I got the inspiration from talking
Great.
with you.
Okay, I'll take it. Inspired by Kyle Derek. Amazing.
Inspired by
So
Kyle.
I think that's it. So a lot of this fan stuff is great. Leverage it and open it up.
All right.
Co-pros, collabs. Okay, so just start thinking that way. I know it's early days, but just now you kind of have a framework and you have this conversation, so you can just go back and listen to me ramble through it. Just put it on like 1.5 speed so you get all this stuff and still have a day. Anyway, that's what I would say. So I wish you luck on that. You know, and you look, you know, if you turn it into a voice-based thing.
All right, continue on with what you were saying.
Okay, yes. So that's my recommendation for the on-camera stuff. And I was saying, if you wanted to move it to voice or have any like secondary material that's voice-based, because remember, you can also do, it's like an animatic, so you can do like narrated comic book stuff.
Yes.
So pictures and then voiceover, okay? It doesn't always have to be the full shebang. So if you do anything like that, like I will for sure voice for you. You just let me know.
All right,
And I can
sweet.
do all the mixing on my end. Yeah. So that's how I can help. In terms of like production, I don't have the means or like the reach to do that, but I can at least offer you those steps. And I think if you follow those, you'll find that you'll be in pretty good footing.
All right, sweet. Thank you.
Yeah. Great. So okay, before I got to go soon, and I appreciate this, but can you give me your best gambit before I go? Now it's your turn. Hey, if you want to go on Reddit and find some lines.
Oh God, let's do this.
Yeah.
I don't think I can pull the Louisiana accent though.
Oh, well, you got it for Gambit. You can't.
I gotta try.
Yeah, you got to try. So let's hear it.
Hold on. I'm
On
trying
the
to
spot.
think of how to say it. Every man has a price to charge and a price to pay, mon ami.
Okay, you're getting there. You're getting there.
Yeah,
Just think,
I'm working on it.
Just think a little sexier. A little bit of swaying every man, right? Just a little bit of that.
Right.
Mon ami.
See, you're better at this than I am. See, that's why you're the voice
I've been doing accents forever.
Exactly.
I also speak French, so that
Lucky.
helps. Well, hey, yeah, I know.
I mean, that is one of your guys' main languages.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about, I'm so jealous of Europeans. If they have like 4 or 5 languages, I'm so jealous.
But
well, look, keep working at it. But you're gonna have to get that. That's Gambit, man. But hey, it's good. You got time.
Yes.
So you can put this into practice.
So, final question for you.
Yes.
So, is there a way that the people on that listen to the podcast or your followers can contact you or get a hold of you if they have questions or just want to talk and get to know you?
Great. So the best way to reach me is by Instagram, which is at Kyle Derek McDonald. That's the best way. And also like and subscribe to my YouTube, which is at the Kyle Derek, because my YouTube's a little sad and it needs some love. So at Kyle Derek McDonald on Instagram is the best way. And like and subscribe on YouTube at the Kyle Derek.
All right. And that's all we have for you.
Great. Todd, it's been a pleasure, man. I'm glad you
It's been a
followed up. Good
pleasure.
for you. That's the first
Thank-
rule. You were persistent. I like that. Always follow
Thank
up.
you.
And let me know. Keep me updated on the Gambit thing.
I will.
Okay, let me know what's going on there, and I will let you know if I'm back next year for
All right.
Wyoming. I sent the organizer some thoughts to help strengthen it, so we'll see if that worked out.
Right.
Because if you can get sponsorship, get sponsorship.
Right. And honestly, I'm working on getting sponsorship for the podcast too.
There you go. Okay, so
Uh,
it's a similar journey.
yeah. But all right, just let me know if you're back.
Yeah, absolutely I will. So that was when was that? Oh my God, that was April, right?
Yes.
So it'll probably be about then next year, or if there's an earlier one. But I will absolutely let you know.
Anywhere from April, because the one where I met Charlie the first time was around like the end, like in the middle towards the ending of June. So with her, because of obviously people always having to reschedule or whatnot, she might do it at the April, but beginning or ending of April, beginning of May, like she did when I met you.
Yeah, okay.
And or the middle, beginning, or ending of June.
All right,
Because
okay.
more summer, more
Indeed,
fun.
summer. Everyone loves summer. Yeah. Well, they let me know well enough in advance, so that shouldn't be a problem. But either way, we will connect, and yeah, I'll get you those signatures. I'm surprised it didn't happen.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll have some new roles to talk about by the time I get back there. That'd be nice.
Exactly.
I'm trying to get myself on Genshin Impact.
And who knows? Maybe me and you will do a podcast episode live where it's just you and I just sitting there and talking.
Yep, that'd be great.
All right.
In Casper. All right, my friend.
It was nice
and
seeing
thank you to
again.
all the listeners for listening to me ramble for so long. I hope some of it was useful, and it was my pleasure.
It's good seeing you again.
You too, man.
All right, guys, that was Kyle Derek, or as he puts it, Kyle Derek McDonald. Either way you guys want to call him, that's on you. But thank you for listening to, or I should say, watching the Nerdvolution podcast, episode 5. Sorry, don't know why I threw up 10. Episode 5. It was a pleasure re-meeting with Kyle. He's a great guy, and just remember, always nerd out, and I'll see you in the next video.